Alright, how are all my Guardians doing? KGT, back with some more Destiny 2 news and information. Now, in the wake of E3, Destiny 2 information is flowing left and right. And I have to talk about my opinions on the new Arc Strider subclass. Now, this is one I was really kind of skeptical on when I read the perks. And I was reading about it, and I looked at it, and I thought it was just way too similar to Blade Dancer. And all the abilities seem to complement the melee and dodge. And I was really hoping for something a little bit more. But then after seeing the super in action at E3, I definitely have to say I am totally on board with this new subclass. And I actually need your guys' help in making a decision here, because I'm going to try and record everything I do for my progress through Destiny 2, or at least make videos here and there as I progress through the game. So I want to know what you guys think. Should I start out with the Arc Strider or the Dawn Blade? Let me know in the comments section below. Both seem to be exceptionally good classes. I definitely like the Dawn Blade with being able to rain fire down, but I really like the acrobatics and agility with the Arc Strider. And I think once you get used to the skill tree and how the perks all work together with your grenades, dodges, melees, and all that good stuff, then you'll really be able to be devastating, especially in PvP. I can see that one being a big one. And the Dawn Blade I see being more effective in PvE than PvP, but that's just for how the speed at which the fire projectiles move. They're a little bit slow, and from what I've seen, it seems fairly easy to dodge. I'll definitely be doing get some footage of all 6 subclasses when the beta launches, and I will definitely be doing weapon reviews and everything else, and I will cover the beta all the way through. But I definitely have to say that after seeing the subclass used, it definitely looks like one of the best subclasses I've seen. Now, as opposed to Blade Dancer, where you strike and then you have kind of a delay in your animation between moving between targets, the Arc Strider flows perfectly smooth and fluid through all of its attacks. So I think that this is going to be a really fast, hard-hitting, and go in, tear down a bunch of enemies, and jump right the hell out of there kind of subclass. And it looks really, really effective. And I also noticed that they did replace the traditional Hunter knife melee attack with a punch. Sort of looks like a quick to the back of the head knockout punch type hit. But it definitely looks really effective, and I really like how all these new subclasses are stacking up. They did confirm, Luke Smith confirmed in an interview that the Ward of Dawn will be returning on the Sentinel subclass, and it sounds like what's going to happen is like you have the 2 separate skill tree perks that add on for your melees and all that stuff in your subclass, and it sounds like one of those is going to include the option to use the Ward of Dawn as opposed to the Sentinel shield. And I think that this is going to be really good for raids and PvE, while I see the shield being a little bit more fun for PvP and maybe just a little bit easier to try out. Definitely have to take a look and see, because the Ward of Dawn, if it's defensive only, may not necessarily be the best for all situations. It might be really good for a raid boss encounter, or if the area in the King's Fall raid where the last part during the Oryx fight, where everyone drops down and you usually have at least 1 or 2 Defender Titans pop their Ward of Dawns right there in the middle, so everyone can jump in and shield themselves from all the ads. And I think that could be an effective use for it. But it also depends too on whether it has the buffs for armor and weapons of light. Because right now, from what it looks like, the Warlock ability gets that. So I don't think it'd be effective for the Ward of Dawn to provide weapons or armor of light if you've already got that being the Warlock class ability. I think it's more likely to just be a defensive bubble that shields you from enemies and maybe disorients enemies that wander inside it. Sorry about that. But I don't see it being what it was in the Defender Titan, because as a Defender Titan, it made the subclass. It was what the Defender Titan was. It was a super, it was a big go all out move. So I think that with the way it looks, they're trying to differentiate the Sentinel subclass from the Defender subclass. So I think that these are going to be, I don't think it's going to be the same, but it is nice to know that it will be there, and I can see that being effective in a lot of situations, even if it is simply for a defense bubble. If it can stack with the Warlock ability, so you have, a Titan pop Ward of Dawn during a boss DPS phase, have, two Warlocks, one that puts the armor, or basically the armor of light buff on, and then one that puts weapons of light buff on, then basically you can triple stack that to be really effective. So you get a higher defense, you're also shielded, and you can also get that attack bonus. So I can see some effective uses for this and some tactical ways it'll work out. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why people were really excited that the Ward of Dawn was going to be returning, because the whole point of using the Defender subclass was to use it. Its super was meant to be used tactical. It was meant to be used in that moment where you needed that extra damage or DPS on a boss fight. Or it's an area where your team's going to be backed against a wall, so you use it and basically shield yourself from taking damage. So it is, by all effective means, a tactical subclass. Now, I think that it's, like I said, I don't think it's going to be the Spotlight, because that's what the Sentinel Shield is. And I think that in a lot of scenarios, the Sentinel Shield might be more effective. If you notice in one of the gameplay trailers, it looks like the Hunter's actually shooting through the shield, so maybe it actually offers some sort of damage buff that way, and a defense buff. And being able to throw it around will be pretty cool. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. That will be available during the beta. They did confirm that all 6 subclasses, or all 6 so far showcase subclasses, will be in the beta. And I believe that there's still going to be 3 subclasses. They're going to want to do a subclass for all energy types. Now, my personal opinion, while I think it would be really cool if the Sunbreaker, Stormcaller, and the Night Stalker all came back into Destiny 2, I think it'd be much cooler if they were actually completely, either revamped those same subclasses, or were completely new subclasses, just like the Sentinel, Dawnblade, and Arcstrider. That way they really have a fresh feel going from Destiny 2 or 1 to Destiny 2. And if you look in the top right corner, or in the top left corner, where you have your super or your subclass node at, off to the left, there are 2 empty boxes that look like they could be separate subclass nodes. So I really think that they're going to do all 3 subclasses. Now, I don't know if they're going to have all 3 at launch, but I would definitely say within the launch window, we'll probably be seeing them. I would definitely expect to see them, if not at launch, within either the Rasputin or Osiris DLC packs. I don't think they're going to wait for the first major expansion to unveil them, but you never know. So, but either way, I do believe there will be 3 subclasses, because they're going to want one for each energy type, and that just simply makes sense. So, alright guys, so this has been my coverage of the current subclass information, and if you want to know more, there's definitely lots of videos out there. Go check out a lot of different channels. There's a lot of way more in-depth breakdowns, but I will be doing an in-depth breakdown during the beta coming up on July 18th. Alright guys, until next time, I will catch you all later, and I'll see you in the next one.